Okay, let's get started, okay? Last time we are on string and conditionals, and then we are done almost of all of the topic except for the print and formatted print, okay? So today we are going to talk about print function. So let's get started for the print function. So print is pretty easy. You can use, I'm sorry, you can use the print 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here the print for the print function, you can put multiple value here. Okay, then each one of them will be separated by space. So this is a print function. Okay. So, but you can also do print a single string. Okay. And then you may put a 3 over here, but 3 is an integer. So if you do this, that's fine. You are printing the string and the number and then separated by comma. This one is actually okay. But if you try to do print a equals plus 3, this one is not okay because you have a string plus a number. Then you print a value with string plus number. That's wrong. You have to convert it to string. So this string function is similar to toString in Java. Okay, it will convert a number to string, but it's necessary right here. It's different from Java. Java, you do not need to have this str. You can directly convert a 3 to a string. Okay, but here, no, here you need the str function. Okay, if you don't do it, you are in trouble. Okay, you cannot concatenate a string with a number. That's actually wrong. Okay, this you have to keep in mind. And print, you can have multiple value or you have one single value. If you want to put only a single value, you have to print with a string, okay, or with only a number, okay. And if you want to print multiple value, it can be mixing the number and string, okay, that actually is different. So that's the first thing I would like to talk about is the print function, okay. Second, I'm going to talk about is, let me use a function, okay. Let me use a file. Still on the print function, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, right here, let me create a chapter 3, okay. Even though this is still in chapter 2, but because this week we are supposed to start chapter 3, so let me put it as chapter 3. And then this one, let's call it print number 1, the PY, okay. Okay, so here we talk about we have a print, and then we can print say A, B, C, D, E. And then we print 1, 2, 3, 4. So this print actually is the same as print ln in Java. It's printing with a new line mark. So basically you print A, B, C, D, E, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 in 2 separate lines. Okay, in 2 separate lines. I'm sorry, not this one. Okay, but sometimes I don't want it in that way. Let me put a print over here. So this one is print with a new line mark, so it's one more line. Now, but sometimes I may want to have a print A, and then I wanted to print B, but I don't like to change line, so I may not like to the no change line. So print is not okay in this case. So what should I do? Here I can use a print end equals empty string. So this means that print without new line mark. And then it will be the same as print in Java. Okay, so print in Java actually is print ending with no data. Okay, you print with a new line mark. These two are different. Okay, let's actually see the difference. So let's run it. Okay, so you see A followed by B. There's no change line mark, but you will change line after B is printed because I have another print. Okay, so that's actually print and then ending with nothing. Okay, ending with nothing. So let's do another one. Let's do print. If I print A and then I say end with a dash, and then print B, and then end with dash. Print. Okay, this one will be printing without changing new line, and it would be, so it will be no change line, but with minus sign at the end. Okay. So A dash B dash, right? So here, if I do this, if I do print A and with slash n print B and then end with slash n print. So this one is ending with new line mark. So it is same as print only. So this one is the same as this one. And then end equals something is what? Share is what?
Like and oh,
Equals something. This end is what?
like it adds to the end.
Yeah, I'm asking you what is this end?
Oh, like next line, you mean?
No, end actually is a parameter.
Oh,
Its default value is backslash n. So if you don't assign it, you will get the default value. You will change line. You don't assign it, you will get a default value. Okay? We'll talk about this parameter later. Okay. When we talk about function, we'll talk about it. Okay, but this right now just thinking about you dash n, it would be change line mark. So it will be effectively the same as you print. Okay. Now there are different kind of the Python strings. They are R string, F string, and the B string. I see some of you already know how to use the F string. So can somebody tell me what is R string, F string, B string, and no note string? No, the regular string. What's the difference between here? Can somebody tell me? Sherry, do you know?
I only use like the yeah.
You don't know what is the difference. So why you put the F there? So F string say. What is the F string?
Format.
Yeah, it's a formatted string. When you use F, usually it's a formatted string. So R is a raw string. Regular string would take the escape sequence. B string is binary string. Okay, so we do have the different name for the strings. Remember, these are different kind of string. Let's look at a raw string. Okay, let's look at a raw string. So that's this one's print number one. Let's create another one called print number two. Okay. So this one, let's name it as a print number two. Print number two will be on the string types. Okay. Okay, you have backslash t backslash t backslash t a backslash t backslash t backslash t x. So that's a R1 string. Okay, you have another one called regular. Okay, let's do it. Text equals backslash t backslash t backslash t a backslash t backslash t backslash t x. Okay, these two are the same, except that R has the R string has a R before it. So this kind of the string is called row string. This one is called cook string. Raw beef and cooked beef. Okay. So that's pulling your R1 and pulling your text and see the difference between these two. Okay. So backslash t when it's R means raw. Raw means backslash t is taken as a backslash t. It will not be taken as a tab. So it's a backslash t a backslash t x. That's the raw string. So backslash is doing nothing in here. While the other one, there's no R before it. When there's no R before it, it has a escape sequence. So it's a backslash t, tap in another one, tap in the third one, print a, tap in one, tap in one, tap in the third one, print X. So without R, we call it a cook string. Cook string means that you already cook it. So backslash t already treated as a tab. A space, A space, A space. So that's cooked string. R is a raw string. Any questions so far? No question?
No.
Next one, let's have the F string, okay? So let's do A equals 3, B equals 4. And then I have the F1 equals F string. Okay, this one is formatted string. Formatted string means your variable F being put into the A right here, and A variable is replaced, bracket A, curly brace A is replaced by 3. Curly brace, B is replaced by B. This is called formatted string. Is that okay? And B string is a binary string. That's we don't talk about it today right now. Okay, but at least you need to know what is R string, what is normal string, what is F string. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
No, no. Next one, we are going to talk about percentage operator for string. Okay, we do have a plus sign for string, so you can do x equals a plus b plus c string, and you print x. This x will be concatenated together, so you will print a, b, c, because your x now has 3 symbols connected together. So plus sign would connecting them here. Now y equals a times 20. Doing y, so y would be 20 times. Okay, y will be a for 20 times. That's the multiply. Let's repeat 20 times. Next one, we will have percentage sign. So we have g equals okay, this one is a formatted string format that in Java, right? This is similar to that. Percentage D is digit format, right? Then right here you do percentage sign. We put your A and B. So these two, you put the value from here to here, from here to here. It's just like a string dot format. Percentage D, comma AB in Java. I think maybe Sherry and Benjamin know it. Okay, these two are used to replace the value here. And right here in Python, we use a percentage sign to replace it. But here you do need to put a parenthesis because you have more than one data. Okay, then you need to use the percentage sign. So you do print G. If you have only one data, then you can directly put a percentage A there and print W. Okay, this one is formatted string number 2 using modulus operator. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
Sherry, are you okay?
Yeah.
How about Benjamin, are you okay? Hi, Benjamin, are you okay?
Sorry, no questions.
No question. So this is a second way to do formatted string. First way is you use variable replacement. Okay, let's call it variable replacement. Let's do the number 3 way of formatted string. Okay. Number 3 way of formatted string is, let's have a e equals 0 colon. Okay. B equals 1 colon the format A. This one is formatted string number 3 Python format string. So you basically put a string over there, and then you put a number n colon format right here. Format right here. Right here, I don't have format. Okay, I don't have format. But you can put the format string over there, and then here you have one. So n equals 0. It means that A replaced here. B will replace as the 1 location. Okay, so this one is a formatted string by Python string. So let's print the key and the print. Okay, you've got A equals 3, B equals 4. But what if I keep the same function? Okay, I keep the same function. But let me copy it, put it over here. Let me change it to S. And here I change it to be 1 and 0. And here I print the S. This one, the order 0 will be put on B location. Order 1 will be put on 1 location. So this Python format can change order. This one cannot change order. This one is variable replacement. So these 3 are different way of doing the Python formatted string. Okay. So as you can see, it's different way of doing it. And then your A and B got replaced. Okay? Because your A is order 0 being put over here. B is this one over here. So this number is the order number, which variable you are number. Okay? And this format is similar to string format in Java. Okay, same as that. but you have this format, this way to do it, and this way to do it. To me, I prefer which one? I personally prefer the second one. The reason is like second one is the same as the C JavaScript. So C is easier to remember than the other two. So this one only when you need to replace the variable, you have the advantage. This one seldom used. Only you like a Python order change, then you need it. Otherwise, usually we are using the format 2 because format 2 is more like what the C language or Java language is formatted string. Any questions so far?
No.
But remember that these are the technique to define different formatted string or string type in Python language, okay? Anyway, this is the end of the chapter 2. We need to move on to chapter 3, okay? Because this is brief Python. This is not complicated Python, okay? We don't teach you the most complicated one. We will come back to the everything later when we do review, okay? For more detailed Python. And right now we are on brief Python. We only have 4 weeks to finish the whole Python. Then we will start Python for data science. Okay, so next one we are going to move on to program structure or loops. Okay, so it will be on loops and also on functions. Okay, also on functions. Also on the so-called while loop, for loop. Okay, and may also on the comprehension list. Okay, will also be on comprehension list. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So let's actually create a new file. So the first one I would like to talk about is the function. So define function f of x return 2 times x. Okay, so we do print double of percentage d equals percentage d percentage 3 and f of 3. Okay. So this one is a formatted string. Your 3 will replace the first variable here. F of 3 will replace the second variable here. And you are calling a function call. This function is defined as f function taking a parameter of x, and you will return 2 times x. And then here you have the caller. Okay, so you define a function, and then you need to align the statement here. And then this is the function definition. And then this one is the function call. You call the function right here. So you define the function and then you using the print function to call it. Okay, this is what function is. I talk about function before loop, okay, because we may need it. Okay, so this one, let's call it function number 1. So there's a function, we actually pass the value to there and actually return 6 as a function number 1. Okay. So let's see, let's continue. That's the function. So a function may take more than one variable. Okay. So that's the assume that we do define maximum of the x and y. If x greater than y, return x, and then otherwise return 1. Okay. Okay, so here 3 replace the first number, 4 replace the second number, maximum of 3 and 4 replace the third number. And this one in mathematical function, they do have a max function, but we redefine it. Okay, we redefine it. Okay, anyway, that's wrong. Okay. We print it. Now, next one. So function with 1 parameter, one with 2 parameter. And then let's do this. Let's define a function. PP function. Okay, PP function. Let's have A equals 0, B equals 1, C equals 2. Okay, and then you do print your A, print your B, and then print your C. Okay, and then and then X equals PB of nothing. Print X. Okay. So right here, we have a function A equals 0, B equals 1, C equals 2. These are default value. Default value means that the function call, I don't pass anything to it. Since I don't pass anything to it, A will be 0, B will be 1, C will be equals 2. Okay, let me do this. Let me actually do A equals. So when you print it, it will tell you A, B, C, okay? Okay, very soon let's actually have X equals. So you print A, B, C's value, and since you don't have anything to there, they will use the default value of 0, 1, 2. And then the return value has nothing because defined function, there's no return. No return, S will be none. So a none will be printed. None is a constant. None is a constant object will be returned. So when you forget to return something, then you will get a none. When you did not put the variable to the parameter, you will get a default value. You will get a default value. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's try X equals PP of 10. Okay, PP of 10, you only have one value. Then the value will be assigned to A, B, and C will be the default value. So you've got 1 and 2 right here. And X is nothing, but I do not print X this time. So you should be printed with A equals 10, B equals 1, C equals 2. Okay, if you got one value, then the first variable would got the assignment. Second and third will not have value. Okay, then let's do another one. Let's do X equals PP of 10 and 20. Then this time, A and B got assigned, C got the default value. Is that okay so far?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Let me put more print so you know that it's different paragraph. Okay, so you actually print this. Now let's try another one. Let's try S equals PP of C equals 2, S equals 10, B equals 15, A equals 30. Can you do that? Out of order assignment? For parameters? It is okay. Yes, it is okay. It is okay to have this out of order assignment. Yes. Okay, out of order assignment also allowed. Any questions so far?
No.
No, not really.
No? So here we teach you a simple parameter, two parameter, return value. Without return value, it will return none. And then we teach you parameter for the passing, and we teach you default value. And then if you don't have enough variable, what will happen? Okay, now next one. Next one is define square of x. Oh, hint. This hint what? Hint the return type. Because Python don't have a type. But sometimes it's very confusing. So here we would rather say, can you tell me what is the return type? Yeah, the return type is integer. So hint is return type integer, and you got a square. So let's go print square of 4. Okay. And then there's a question. You write hint, you don't write hint the same. So hint is garbage. In reality, it's of no use. That means that you assign it to be returning integer or no. The program is the same, no difference. Except that you provide the return type, then people knowing about the function's return type a little bit better, more readable, make the program more readable. But if you don't return the integer, it is okay. So now let's do this. Let's do int square of 4.7. So 4.7 is not integer, even though your hint is an integer, but I don't follow the hint. I really return 4.7 square. Is that okay? Yeah, it's okay. They don't care. Does that make sense? Hello? Does that make sense? They don't care what
Yeah,
return type
makes sense.
is. Okay. They don't care what return type is. Here is integer or double, doesn't make a difference for the return type you really return. So this one is only for hint. Okay, this one is only for hint. Okay, so this is another function feature you need to know. Let's see. Okay, this I'm building up the program one by one, step by step. Okay. Let's see what else you need to learn. Okay, next one. This one, let's define cube. So here I'm going to write double, but it's of no use, okay? Okay, there's no double typing. There's no double type in Python. It should be called float. Okay, so this is cube of x you return straight. Now I'm going to define another one called apply. Apply function to the variable x, and you return the function call of x. Okay, and then here I'm going to do print. Print what? That's apply square to 7. Then let's apply cube to 7. So here you can pass a function to another function. So the cube and the square function is used as a parameter to pass to another function. Is that okay? Any questions so far?
No.
So 7 square, 7 cube. When you apply the square function to 7. Okay? So you can pass the function to another function. Okay. Okay, so these are what you need to learn so far for different functions. We will teach you more later, okay? Now this one, let's keep it in this way. Okay, this one is called function number 1. Let's actually save as function number 2. So function 2.py. So function 1.py, you have everything the same as function 1 and number 2 are the same. But here, okay, here what happened is this is definition of the function. This is definition of 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 function. Right. So these are different subroutine calls, or f of x, g of x, h of x, different kind of f of x, right? But here you have some program as well. So this some program means is the program for the module of function 2. Right? So in this case, it will be wrong right here. But sometimes I don't want it to be wrong. Sometimes I don't want it to be wrong. But right now, let's assume that I want it to be wrong. If I want it to be wrong, I write it in this way, it's fine. But there's another way you can do it, is define main function. So this whole thing, let's push over to one level. So this become a main function. So at this moment, that's actually wrong. Nothing would have happened because now nothing been wrong, because your main function is not wrong. So nothing been wrong. So here I can put a main wrong. Then it's effectively the same as function 1. Any questions so far? Any questions so far?
No.
Then what is the purpose of this main then? You have the main function, and without main function, you always run the same thing. So what's the difference? The difference is this main sometimes I can use if underline name underline equals underline main underline colon. And in this case, I'll run main function. Otherwise, I don't run this main function. So now let's understand this one. So underline name. This one is the system variable. So system variable, when you have an underline, that means a private variable. How big a private variable in Java? Okay, so it's the same. It's a private variable. This private variable we call name. When it equals main, then you run main. This means if I run it, then this function 2 is a main function, so you can run. Okay, you can run. Okay, let's try function 1 then. So function 1 is the same function. I'm sorry, I should open function 1. I open function 2 again. So function 1 is the one that don't have the main function. It wrong is still okay, it's the same, right? So right here, if I want to run some function, say max function, okay, let's try square function. I try to run the square function from this module. Okay, so I can do import function 1. When I import, everything got run once, and then I can run print square of 7. It is correct because I actually let's run print function 1 square. You got a function and print it, that's correct. Okay, that part is correct, but I don't like the function to be run once when I import it. Okay, when I import it, I don't want it to be wrong. So in this case, I will import function 2. And function 2, it doesn't run it. Why? Because function 2 module, let's look at function 2 module. Function 2 module, there's a main function, and if the name is not main, right here is not main because you are using the desktop to call the function 2. So function 2 is not a main program. Because it's not a main program, so this portion will not be wrong, totally not be wrong. So it's okay, you just put it in, and then you put it in for what purpose? You got a definition for the function right here. So you still can use the function, but without running the function once. Is that okay? The main function will not be wrong once. So main function, whether it will be wrong or not wrong, will depending on whether it's the main module or not. Main module means that you directly run this module, then that you will run this whole main function because it's the main program. But if you do import function 2, you are importing the module. You are not supposed to run the main function because it's not the main function. And then in this case, you do it is okay, you can run, but you will not call it. If you call the function one, then you already wrong it once, because no matter it's main function or not main function, function one's program will be wrong, because we do not have the main function and checker there. Does it make sense or not? Do you understand what's the main function now or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so
Mhm.
main function only be wrong when you are the main module. So sometimes this is good for testing. You can test your function, test well, no problem. You run it yourself, you test it. But when you actually run the individual function called by other module, it will not be wrong, because this is self-testing code. So this one, when you do self-testing code, is very good. You can keep it there. Every time you modify your function, you can test it. Okay. And then if you don't use it for main function, then you don't need it. Let's actually try another one. Okay, let's try another one. Let's create another new module. This one, let's save as. Okay, this one, let's call it statistic.py. Okay. So let's define actually some total of array A, okay, and then you do for each number in A, okay, sum, okay, T plus equals number at the end return total. Okay, so here beginning you need to have a total equals 0 to 0. Okay. So this one you will get a total of A. Okay, no problem. I think you are fine. Everyone is fine for this one. Define maximum of A. Maximum equals A 0 for each number in A. Okay, give the number greater than maximum. Maximum equals number. Then return maximum. It's a maximum. Okay. Define minimum A. Minimum equals A 0 for number in A is number less than n equals number return this one's minimum. Okay. Define maximum minimum sum average. Total equals total of A. Okay. Return total divided by the length of A. Okay, and next one, let's do define median of A. Median of A, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, if you are odd number, then your length divided by 2 is this one, that's your median, so you return it right away. If you have even number of the data, it should be the average of these two numbers, right? That's the definition of the median, right? Am I correct or not?
Yeah, that's right.
So let's do if the length of A take modular by 2 equals 1, then return the A's number. So A's length of A divided by 2. Before that, you need to do A that's sorting. You need to solve the data A, right? You need to do sorting because if you don't do sorting, you actually do not get the median one. Okay. Then you actually otherwise you okay. So 1/2. Okay, this one actually, in order to make sure it's actually is getting the double, you do A's okay, let's do this. Okay, let's do median equals length of A divided by 2. The middle index, okay? So this one would be middle index. This one should be middle index -1 plus A's middle index. Any questions so far?
No.
So what am I doing? Benjamin, what am I doing? I write down several functions for a array, right?
Yeah.
And then I test it. So let me assign that I have a equals 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 9, 7, 8, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I have 1 to 10. Okay, then let's print the total A. Let's print the maximum of A. Let's print the minimum of A. Let's print the average of A. Let's print the median of A. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm running this one module. How come I still running this one? Wait, oh, I'm running the wrong program. I'm sorry, let me close it, okay? I'm still running this one. So this one, let's save. Any questions so far?
No.
So these are calculating the different value right there, okay? And this one is a testing code for it, right? So right here, let's actually define main function and then push it one level in. And then here, if the underline name, underline equals underline main function, underline. Here you also need to have a colon and do main function. So make it a main function for this module and you run it. And you got it work, okay? Now that's actually created a new file. So that's assume that there is a student want to use this library of the so-called statistic module. So let me save us this one. Let's call it AP stats. So student writing the AP stat homework. Oh, so she will say import statistics, right? And then when you import, it will not run the main function because the statistic is not the main function. Okay. Now let's do A equals 40, 10, 20, 30, 90, 70, 100, 80, 60. Okay, I create this is still 1 to 9, okay, 1 to 10, but because I want to differentiate, so I use a 1 to 10, 20, 30, okay? So we do have 10 different numbers. Okay, good enough. Now let's actually do this. Let's do it of the total of A point the average of A point so-called median. This will not work. Okay, let me say it will not work. I'm going to modify it, but I write a wrong version first. It will not work because the function is not included. Total not defined. Total not defined because you try to import. When you import, you have to do this. You have to do statistics that total. Statistics total. Statistics total. Like median. So this is okay, but that's not convenient, right? That's not convenient. Because every time you need to type a statistics, that's too long, right? But you do code it without running the main function that the tester program in statistics. So can we do a shorter name for statistic? Yes, you can. So let's save us AP stats 2. So AP stats 2, let's import this one as ST. And then later, everywhere statistic can be using ST to do it. That is fine. So let's say wrong in emoji, it work. Any questions so far?
No.
No.
So what we learned so far is we do have a statistic module, different function 1, function 2, function 3, different function, and there is also a main function. This is statistics. Okay, so if you run this module by itself, then the main function will be wrong. Then you test the whole thing. There's no problem. This is self-tested. If not, you can have a AP stats program that import it. When you import it, you do see those functions, but you do need to know about it is statistics total, statistics average, statistics median. The reason being that it may have another one called math.py, and the math.py may have the same function name as well. So in that case, you need to know this is statistics total. You run the total function from the statistics instead of messed up py. So this is when you work with multiple module, okay? Is that okay so far?
Yeah.
Sherry, are you okay?
Yeah.
So when you write the library of different file, then you may import us, but you import us, it's still importing the statistic, but the name can be shorter. Okay, but somehow, sometimes you say, oh, I don't want to use this st, I just want to use a total function. Is that okay? Yes, it is okay. How can we do it? Let's do it in a different way. Let's actually create a new file. Okay, this one, let's actually put the same thing in there. So this one let's save as AP stats 3. So AP stats 3, instead of import statistics as this, we will say from statistics import star. And then you don't need to have the ST anymore. You don't have the ST anymore. What will happen is you do have your statistic module. You also have your AP stats 3 module. Then the namespace got merged. Is that okay? Namespace will be merged together. Merged together means that your X is my X. You see a X, I will see a X. So you don't need to tell me this total function is from statistic module because your total is my total. Two namespaces are merged. Is that okay? So this one, when you run, you get the same result, but you do not need to tell them which module the function come from. But there is one major drawback on this one. That's because you merge the two functions. So you have an X here, is an X same here. So this X may multiply the definition of this one. So they sometimes would have variable name conflict because the namespace got merged. So you may have a total, I may have a total, my total may override your total. Whichever is a newer one would take over, but that may update the definition of the total function. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So to be safe, we usually don't like this one. We like to use the import statistics as ST. That is the best practice. So in a way, we prefer the second one. In a way, we prefer the second one, AP stats 2's one, that you do not merge the namespace, but you actually make the space name shorter, module name shorter. Okay? That's what we usually do. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, so we cover different function and module, and we cover different function and module and parameters and okay, related stuff. So function part, I think we are fine right now. Okay, let's go back to loops. Okay, so function, we talk about it. I don't want to repeat it. Okay, there are different definition, but I think my talk is better than this slices. So let's go back to the loop definition now. So loop, there are two kinds of a loop in Python. In Java, there are four kind of loop. You have for loop, while loop, do while loop, and for each loop. Okay. Right here, you only have two kind of loop. You only have the while loop and the for each loop. Okay. So let's look at the. Let's look at it. Let's look at the for each loop. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I should not use the Visual Studio Code. I should still use idle. Let's open. Let's create a new file. So for loop, you do have I equals 0, while I less than 10, print I, and then I increase by 1. So there is no I plus plus. Okay, be careful. So this one is a simple counting loop. I started from 0, I less than 10, print I. Okay. So this one you should print 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. These different things. So this one, let's call it number 1. Okay, this is a while loop. Then next one, we may want to have a for each loop. So for each character in A, B, C, D, E, F, G, put a string over there, and then you put the character. You print the character. So here you can put any string there. Okay, it's fine. Here, let's put a print. You can also put a tuple in 2, 4, 6, 8. That's a tuple. So every time you fetch a number and then print it. From the tuple, you print something, that's also fine. Okay. You can also put a list over there. So list, let's call it element in the list of 1, 3, 7, 8, 10. Any questions so far?
No.
So these are for each loop and these are for each loop and while loop. Okay. No, but sometimes you do feel it convenient if you do for integer I equals 0, I less than str the length I increase. Okay, you feel comfortable about that because every time you want to go to every character. Then you can say you are doing for each index I in range function. This range function will put the length of the A, B, C, D, E, F, G of the string. Then include the okay, let's define this A, B, C, F, G as STS. So you calculate the length of the string and then you create right here, you print out the S i's value. So you print out I is the index. So this one is for each index I in the range of the length of the S. This is for each element in the list. This is for each tuple in the tuple, for each character in the string. For each data, okay, this is for each loop. So we are using the for each loop for the as the for loop. Okay. Now next one. This one is that let's actually create a new function. Let's call it S equals A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y G. Okay. So S is the alphabet. And then you can do for each index in range. Here you have three numbers. These is three numbers are. So range function has three numbers is start, ending, and jump. So similar to slicing. So from 0 to 10, jump by 2. Okay, print SI. So for this index of, so it's actually is integer I equals 0, I less than 10, I plus equals 2, the same as that in Java. Okay. Jump by 2. Ending condition, this number not included, 10 not included. It started from 0. So these are the same as the for loop. Okay. This is starting from A series. Okay, jump by 2. Right here, let's print and put another print over here, making sure it's separated from print now. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
So the range function's three number is similar to the string slicing number. Okay, you need to remember that. Then this for each loop is okay. And then you can have the, if you only have one number, that means is the end. The end is length of S. So it's not including length of S. So it actually is the from 0 to length of S minus 1. And jump, you do not specify. When you do not specify jump, it will be 1. Start, you don't specify, you start from 0. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
So two number will be starting and end. One number will be only end. Three number will be start, enter, and jump. Okay, for the range function. These are something you need to remember. Okay, these are the different loop, for loop. So we actually introduce what is for loop, what is while loop. Okay. Let's see. Let's go through this slides a little bit. Okay. So n equals 0, n greater than 0, print n decrease, and then press up. So it will be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, press up. Okay. Five equals 0. If you forget to decrease n, then n always is 5. You never get out. This one is an infinite loop. Okay. So this one, we don't repeat it. This one, you get the 0, but while x greater than 0, you never go into there, never go into the actually bypass. So this one is a loop that never happened. So a loop may not happen, a loop may never get out. Okay, when you design the loop, you need to know about the condition of entering the loop and leaving the loop. Okay. Input loop. Input loop is you want to have a loop that take a lot of input. Okay, let's see the input loop. So we have the loop number 1. Let's actually create a loop number 2. Okay. Okay, so we do get a line force input. So this is a basic loop structure for reading input. Okay. Here I have a press slide. So until you hit the exit. Okay. So you enter a string to line, and if it is not equals the EXEIT, you will continue to print it and read a new data, and then you repeat it until it is EXAT. Okay, this is actually a typical so-called read evaluate read loop format. Okay, repeat loop. Okay, so based on this repeat loop that have a sum Let's have a sum equal 0. Okay. So this one would take in the data, convert it to integer, and then put it to the sum one by one until it hit the 0. Okay. So you enter A, B, C, B, okay, and then you exit. And then you start to put in a number onto 3, 5, 6, then 0. Okay? Any questions so far? I think so far still quite a simple loop, okay? Any questions so far?
No.
These are simple loop,
No.
okay? Then you may have a break that will break a loop. Okay, you may also have a pass, one single statement. Continue, that will be bypass an iteration, okay? That's different break level. So if you do continue, that means you will bypass that iteration. If you do break, that will break a loop. Okay. So let's talk about a break level. So let's define a function 1. Let's pass a array A. Okay, let's define A as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's just 26 the data we want to process. You pass the A to B. Okay, look, we write a function called f1 of A. This one, you take in the array A and then go through every number. But if I equals 3, we say continue. Continue means that you will bypass whatever is wrong. So the print will be bypassed and you will go to the next I. So it is skipping one iteration. So that's wrong it, okay? So that's wrong F1 of A. Then you write 1, 2, 3, 4 because it's kept it. I equals 3 got escaped, but A3 is actually 4. We will not be printing. Okay. Now let's actually copy these things and put it over here. And then let's call it F2. So F2 right here, I am going to break. It's not skipping one iteration now. It actually will skip the whole loop. But if skip the loop, you will get to the outside. Let's print end of loop right here. And right here, let's do print. Okay. So you run to 4, you run to 3, and then you actually break the loop. The whole loop being break. The whole loop being break, but it will still run the end of loop because it's inside the function. Okay, this is F2. Let's try another one called F3. So F3, we don't break. F3, we directly return. We will skip the whole function. So end of loop will not be wrong, but after end of loop, you will be getting outside of the function. Relation is end of F3 function. Okay, so here let's call it F3 function. Okay. Okay. So end of loop will not be wrong because this return will break the whole function and jump to here, and you will run end of F3, but end of loop will not be wrong. This one, F2, you actually will break the loop, but the end of loop will still be wrong. This one continue, you will skip one iteration, but print of the I for the next iteration will still be wrong. Okay. So these are different break levels. Any questions so far?
No.
There's another one that's even more powerful than just end of 3. Let's call it another one, okay? That's even higher break level, not breaking the. So here you have a breaking, skipping iteration, breaking the loop, breaking the function called by return. There's another one called F4. So you import a system call and you say exit, that will skip, terminate the program. Okay, so the program will be terminated. Program terminated, so the end of 3 is not even wrong. End of F4 is not even wrong. The program already been terminated. So that's even stronger one. Not only breaking the loop, breaking the function, but it may just terminate the program. So that you don't see the end of F4. Any questions so far?
No.
These are different break levels. Okay, these are different break levels. So here you have different kind of loop. We'll talk about loop later, okay? This is right here, too many of them. Sum and the smallest value and the maximum value, we already talked about it early today, okay? Okay, anyway, today we are up to here. Okay, we finished chapter 3. Next one, we are going to work on the chapter 4, the data structures one, okay? After that, we will go back to revisit the Python again. So free Python will be done. Then we'll go into the Python for data science. We will talk about more advanced programming using the basic structure and the basic function and basic data structure into real world problems. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this moment, we still just go over the language once, okay? So that's what we are doing right now. But please work on the homework, okay? Make sure if you have questions, let me know, okay? I'll try to Zoom you if necessary, okay? But you have to work on the homework and also let me know what you don't understand, okay? Okay, if no question, that's it for today, okay? Good night and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Good night.